There I was. I couldn't afford college anymore, so I had to go back home to Chicago. I tried to find a job that could help me support myself. Jobs never called me back. I was making no money, and life seemed miserable. Here I was, no money for college, no job, no way forward. I asked myself, where do I go? What do I do with my life? I have no college, no job, just fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of never escaping this cycle. Fear of becoming another lost soul, another statistic. The city was full of stories like mine, stories of dreams deferred and lives derailed. I saw the memorials, the faces of those who had given up or been taken too soon. Will this be my destiny? Will this be my lot in life? The opportunities seemed to vanish before my eyes, leaving behind a void that was hard to fill. Everything I tried did not work. Life was awful, and I was angry. I wanted to get out of Chicago because I knew there was no future for me there. The only future I could see is being a loser in my mother's basement, a statistic out on the streets, or in the grave from a stray bullet that may find its way to me. I spent 18 years dodging stray bullets in the city. You eventually run out of luck sometime. This story has been true for many of my family members. Gang conflicts, disagreements, and poor decisions led to shootings, death, and heartache. I refused to become a statistic. I had to leave. I had to get out of Chicago. I knew one place I could go that would be dignified, get me out of Chicago and give me the opportunity to do something with my life. I was going to join the U.S. military. I always loved jets and wanted to fly them, but I did not care much for roller coasters. I did not think the G-forces of a fighter jet would be much friendlier. Although my dreams of flying jets were all but dashed by my lack of enthusiasm for G-forces, I knew there were other ways I could contribute. I wanted to join the United States Air Force. I headed to the Air Force recruiter the next day. He tells me it will be at least a year and a half before they could ship me to basic training. I could not wait that long. I cannot stay in Chicago past the summer. I have to get out faster. I have to come up with a new plan, a new idea. The Air Force will not work, and I am devastated. I knew what the United States Air Force could not do for me. The United States Army could. I had experience with Army ROTC and knew they would ship me off faster than I could blink. I wanted two things: to serve this country and get out of Dodge. Dodge being Chicago, that is. I went to the Army recruiter. He said he could get me shipped away in a matter of weeks. I took a ride with him to a testing center. I took my test, and I am considered an alpha. He said I could do any job I want in the Army. This sounds good, really good, but there is still one more hurdle I have to overcome. They have to look at my medical history. I had a football injury I had surgery on. They needed to know more about it. They asked me to go and get records from the doctor's office about the surgery so they could clear me to go. I am really hoping this does not keep me from a life of service. I have no plan C, so this has to work. What at first seemed like a roadblock would later become a journey that would change the trajectory of my life forever. It was summer in Chicago. It was hot and humid. I had no car, and the best I could do was a cheap Huffy bike from Walmart. The doctor's office I had to travel to was 13 miles round trip. The trip to the doctor's office was slow, but I made it. It was a bike with one gear, not a lot of speed, a questionable chain at best. The water I had was gone by the time I started my journey back, and I still had 7 miles to go. The journey back started with a lot of bike trouble. I had to stop ever so often because the chain kept slipping off the track. Then the tires began to deflate. My entire journey was filled with quick fixes to get the bike down the street another few feet. I was at my wit's end. I felt hopeless. I cried out to God. I could not see a way forward. I told him I trusted him with my life. I continued along my way, my chain still breaking. I come to the last 2 miles and have to carry the bike the rest of the way home. An older male says to me, "You are supposed to ride the bike. The bike is not supposed to ride you." Although tired, I smile. I made it home. I planned on going to the Army recruiter the next day to give him the documents. I receive a phone call with an area code of the area I went to college. It was my boss from the job I worked as a student. He told me they wanted to give me a promotion if I decided to come back to school the next semester. He was unaware of my financial struggles and the lack of loans or grants to pay for another semester. I was so excited about the promotion that I told him, yes, I will gladly take it. I got off the phone very excited. Then I realized I could not pay for school. I would feel silly if I had to call him back and decline. Was God throwing me a lifeline, or was he throwing me a test? As I sat back and my reality sank in, I realized I had to pray. Maybe God was throwing me both a lifeline and a test. Would I trust that he would make a way, that he has a plan for me? I lifted my prayer and asked for help. Light bulb goes off in my head. I can technically go to school with no money for one semester before the bill collector at the bursar office comes for me. I take a leap of faith and enroll in classes. I did not have a place to lay my head, but I had friends. I made my way back down to school on the train and spent the semester on my buddy's couch. 1 month into the semester, my boss asked that I apply for a full-time employee position at the university. They have seen my work ethic as a student and would love to take me on as a full-time employee. I fill out an application, do a great job on the interview, and get the job. I start at the end of the semester. The job not only comes with a salary and benefits, but it comes with free tuition. All I could do was thank God. It was during that season in life I learned about God's providence, promises, and faithfulness. All I had to do was relent my will for his. What I could not do for myself, God did for me. That one act of obedience towards God's plan for my life changed everything. I would learn to lean on and trust in God through it all. He worked everything for my good. I can't thank him enough. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.